This is Rental Management on the Air. First Place Rental is impossible to miss along Route 71 in Oswego, Illinois. The Blue Checker has been a staple of the business for decades, and a major transition has taken place since 2019. That's when co-owners Sean Williams and Brian Soares began conversations with then-owner Scott Munsterman about taking over the business. Sean and Brian had both been longtime employees in different capacities, but were ready for the next step in their careers.
I was at the point where it's like, okay, well, where do I really go from here? And sat down with Scott and said, hey, I know you're probably going to want to retire at some point in your life. Do you have a plan for that? He was really excited, but after we had the conversation, he said, I had the same exact conversation with Brian. Unbeknownst to Brian and myself, we didn't really know that we had the same conversation right around the same time.
So we ended up talking with the owner at the time, and he was excited that somebody would even be interested in, a future in the industry, never mind this particular location at the time. So once that started to develop, obviously there was a very unique set of challenges that came along the way.
Those challenges never could have been imagined by Sean or Brian. In September 2019, Scott Munsterman suffered a heart attack and passed away, so the ownership change was put on hold. Then in March 2020, the pandemic hit. Finally, in January 2021, Sean and Brian became the owners of First Place Rental. Sean joined the peer advisor group Scott had been in, where he met Terry Tresnick with Aid Rentals and Sales, who had 2 locations around the Chicago suburbs in Illinois and Indiana. Another transition was about to take place for First Place Rental.
Fast forward to the show in 2021, I heard him mention that to somebody else in conversation that he was potentially thinking about retiring. And so I said, when we get back, the first thing I'm going to do is put together some numbers and see what we can come up with. So that's what I did. I came back and shot him over the numbers, and he said, well, let's see if we can make this work. Basically, from January of 2022 to June of 2022, we worked on the sale of the business, and it worked out.
The acquisition of the 2 locations was completed in June 2022. Now, First Place Rental moves forward with 3 locations, which bring challenges of their own.
The Highland, Indiana store is very similar geo-market to what we have here. More open area, a lot of more dirt moving. The South Chicago Heights location, a little bit more urban. Not as much new growth, a lot of remodeling, a lot of restructuring of older buildings, parking lots, homes being, either torn down and rebuilt right on their spot. So being able to introduce new equipment to both those locations, a little bit larger equipment, maybe something a little bit more efficient than what they've had in the past. That's been a challenge which has been exciting for us.
No plans are currently in the works for future expansion, but both Sean and Brian have their sights set on building their business with each new opportunity that comes their way.
Kind of one thing after another, like one thing ends and it's like, oh, now we're on to the next thing and you're going to change this. But I really think that it's helped us grow as individuals and a business in general. And it's kind of helped us see, where we want to be and what we want to focus on.
Definitely would like to keep expanding. Like I said, we're young. I have the passion for it. I think this area can definitely use a good customer service-based rental company that wants you to actually get your job done versus the bottom line. We care about our employees, we care about our community. That's huge for us. That helps us have the passion for rental.
Read more about First Place Rental in the April-May issue of Rental Management. This has been Rental Management on the Air.